Hi everyone, I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order on August 21st at 7 o'clock. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for personnel and discussions of a license to use town property? Sarah moves, Mike seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion to return to regular session? Sarah moves, Mike seconds. All in favor? Terrific. Okay, next item on the agenda is my report. Darien Human Services Department provides students in grades kindergarten through 12th whose families qualify for financial support with gift cards for back-to-school supplies. Gift cards can be in any donation amount. Kohl's, Walmart, and Target are suggested. And you can deliver those to the Human Services Department here in Town Hall, room 109, Monday through Thursday. And these certificates help these students kind of get back into the swing of things. So I thank anyone and everyone that supports this particular endeavor. And speaking of cost savings, this week, right now, is tax-free week in Connecticut. This ends this Saturday. It goes through Saturday. This eliminates the Connecticut's 6.35% sales tax on clothing and footwear. That costs less than $100, and that's after any coupons or discounts. That's the final price. And layaway also counts for tax-free. The 43rd Annual Darien Road Race, which I've signed the whole Board of Selectmen up for, is sponsored by the Community Fund, and it's held on September 17th on Sunday. You can register at the Community Fund's website. All proceeds go to support youth and family nonprofit social services programs that are in Darien, Rowayton, or Darien, Norwalk, and Stamford. And again, all ages and abilities are welcome. Some of us will be doing the 1.5 mile fun run, and others, like John, will be doing the 5 mile race.
No, the 5 meter race? 5 minutes. Oh, sorry. Oh, 5. Exactly.
You've heard me talk about WestCog, the noise abatement survey. That ends August 31st. So a link to the survey is available on the WestCog website, and I will share the study results with you when they're available. And last, John and I were recently guests at a meeting of the Fire Commission. We really appreciated the opportunity to observe the meeting and hear firsthand about the work of the commission. Anyone interested in attending a meeting can reach out to a chief from one of our fire departments, one of our 3 fire departments, and their contact information is on our website. That's my report. Kate?
Still working on the website upgrade. We have a go live plan for the last week of September. At the same time, we'll be changing our citizen service request from QLR to C-Click Fix. So I've been working on that, getting a little bleary-eyed, bugging the department heads, but we're really excited to see the website coming together, and I think it will be great for the citizens when it comes out. That's it.
Okay. Mike?
Our next blight review board meeting will be the second Wednesday in September, so I'll have a report then.
Okay, thanks. Sir?
For the Henley Homes and Royal Building Committee, we had a meeting last week on the 16th, and our next meeting will be on September 6th. We are going to be rebidding project and the delay of the year, but this should allow us to get in front of the issues that we had with the accelerated time schedule. And right now they're looking at all of the bids and trying to figure out if the current bidders will hold their price, and if not, where do we stand? And we've done some significant analysis with O&G looking at all the bids, and we're going to be looking at the September 6th to determine where we are on each of the current bids that we currently have and if we'll be able to keep them or looking to rebid. And we're looking to have the final documents by the end of September and then put out the bids in October again.
So they're reaching out to everyone that said they would bid, or?
Everyone that said they would bid, in addition to the bidders that we already had, so to see if they would hold the price.
Right,
So it's a lot of legwork right now.
Right.
Yeah.
right. Okay, John?
So the next meeting of the Great Island Committee is for this Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So please tune into that if you have a chance. Since our last meeting and in advance of this meeting, members of the committee have had a chance to do tours of Great Island and individually or in small groups, just to build their familiarity with the assets that we have on the island and get a sort of in-person live view of the condition of some of those assets. And I think my sense from those meetings is it's adding a lot to the perspectives of really what we could do. So that should be a real productive ad for the committee members, particularly those who have not seen the island. At our meeting on Wednesday, Monica is going to provide, and some other town staff are going to provide an update as to where we are or where we've come since the transaction where we actually bought the island in terms of preparation and getting a sense for what work's been done to make the island ready for public access. So we'll know a lot more at that meeting, and please tune in if you can. So more to come.
ARPA?
ARPA, no additional information.
Okay.
Well, except for the appropriation we're going to vote on tonight, but we'll talk about that then. I don't want to repeat that.
Just a quick reminder, we have not met for the Mental Health Task Force this month. However, if there's a ton of programs that are going to be launching in September based on the depot and based on a lot of different organizations in town, all of that information is on the town website under the Mental Health Task Force tab. You can check that out and get a lot of information on that. My exciting news is that Oxridge is 99% complete. I drove into the parking lot this morning. They've paved everything. They're laying out the sod on the back playground. So next week, Wednesday, when our kids return back to school, they're going to be walking into an absolutely beautiful new 99% complete construction. At this point, the 1% is like punch list stuff, literally like AV and little kind of mamby-pamby stuff, but we've gone through all of our approvals and they're ready to have the kids back next week. So very exciting. It's a beautiful facility and I'm really proud of what this committee has done and what this town has got to offer to our kids. So good stuff.
Yeah, we're touring it tomorrow.
Yeah,
So,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's really gorgeous. So
okay.
good stuff.
Great work. Kate, any public?
No?
No public comment? Okay, next item on the agenda is old business. Discuss and take action on a request to amend a revocable license agreement for Grove Street. Kate will kick this off.
Excuse me?
Kate?
Sorry. I was not anticipating that.
Well, you're just gonna, you wanna,
You all have a copy of the revocable trust agreement that was proposed, revised, and negotiated, that we discussed in executive session, granting a license with certain extensions while the Roots is the tenant, also with some specifics as to what may cause the board to terminate the lease if they so chose prior to the lease with the Roots expiring. So I don't know if you have any questions beyond that. No?
so just to reiterate, the lease, the license agreement runs with that particular establishment,
Yes.
right? And we, in exchange for the public space that we are, that the tables will be on, we'll be picking up a path, a 4-foot path, that by my rough calculations is maybe 20% increase in space, right? Sound about right? Right? Okay. And I think one of the board's main concerns was a termination provision, and that a town can determine that any improper use or impacting enjoyment of our residents is a reason, a provision that entitles us to terminate it. So, and I believe that you reduced the table size from 24 seats to 12, is that right? That's right, so, okay, so significant drop in that, so, any comments? I know we all want to support our local businesses, right?
Look forward to seeing the rollout and seeing people enjoying dinner in the plaza, so good luck.
We know this has taken some time, and we appreciate your patience.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments? No? Okay, if not, may I have a motion to approve the request to amend the revocable license agreement for Grove Street Open Space? Marcy moves, Mike seconds, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to accept a recommendation to decommission the Pear Tree Beach Building Committee. This committee was formed in 2018, so September 24th, so almost 5 years ago. Kate, you want to cover anything here?
Well, the committee met in the beginning, and they did quite a lot of work and made some proposals, not all of which were well received by neighbors. It was a difficult time. When the pandemic hit, they stopped meeting, but they did continue certain work related to getting permission to do work on the boat ramp, to do work on drainage, and to do some work on the side beach. So we do have all those permissions, and so they've taken us to that point. We received a letter from the chairman of the committee and the chairman of the Parks and Rec Commission suggesting that now is the time to disband the original Pear Tree Beach Building Committee. I think at such time as we start to move forward with the work that we've gotten permission from the state to do the dredging, to do the repair work on the drainage and the boat ramp, you would want to consider implementing a new building committee with those specific projects in mind, which is a different skill set than what we had been looking at originally.
Any questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion to accept the recommendation to decommission the Pear Tree Beach Building Committee? Mike moves, Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Thanks, Kate. Okay, moving right along. Okay, next item on the agenda, discuss and take action on a request to appropriate $785,000 of ARPA funds for a replacement of the Department of Public Works garage floor. We have Ed Gentile here. Ed, you want to cover this?
Good evening. Ed Gentile, Director of Public Works. The appropriation you have in front of you is for the repair of the DPW facility garage floors, the 5 bays that face the east side or the swap shop side. As I put in the description, I gave you some timelines on our facility. This area was not part of the original construction and rehab. We had done some minor repair work on the floor and did some epoxy work on it with the intent of getting some additional useful life out of this. There were no structural deficiencies at the time when we did the repairs. We did repairs in-house. We had engineers look at it. Unfortunately, over time now, using and storing the larger equipment in there, the floor has now shown defects, structural defects where I can't even use the floor or the bays to store any of the equipment. I'm using actually the wash bay to store some of the larger stuff now. We did go out to bid after getting a design in January. We bid it in February. We do have a contractor ready to get started. Unfortunately, through the process of bidding, we had identified and contacted 9 different bidders. We only got 1 bidder back. It just so happens it's the bidder, though, that did the floors for the other section that we dismantled during the rehab. That floor has now shown no deficiencies. The work was meticulous. The contractor was very good. So I have a good contractor and I have a good bid right now. There are some sections underneath or infrastructure underneath the existing floor where Parks and Rec store their equipment that we're going to have to dismantle to take this floor down. We have currently bid all those items also. So right now, we're currently ready to get started, waiting with the hopes that there'd be some funds to do this project.
So Ed, have you ever had another project where you accepted a single bid? You didn't rebid it?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've worked with this bidder before? Okay. All right. Are you doing any of this work?
There are some of the things that we're going to be doing to do the demo. We're handling some of the HVAC work. We'll take down some of the lighting and things like that to save some money on the electrician and things like that. Garage doors, I have to have the company come in, take them down, and put them back up. So there are some specialty items. We do need to run power to the Board of Ed portion of the facility. Their main feed runs through that section where we're going to be just demoing the concrete floor. So there are some novelties to this demolition and reconstruction.
And when are you thinking about starting and how long?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow? Okay, good.
if
Good to
approved.
know.
We actually have the contract ready to be signed, ready to go if approved.
One of the things I like about you, seriously, on it.
I don't think we want to wait too long. The floor itself has to cure for 28 days. The previous floor, we gave it 35. We'd like to do that again. It's going to take about 4 or 5 weeks to dismantle, demo, form, and steel, and wrap the steel. So we're looking at 2.5 months. That can easily push us into November, the end of November. It's not weather dependent, but I'd like to get it done before Thanksgiving and have the use of that facility, everything back up in working condition, not only for us, but also Parks and Rec below us.
And Board of Finance approved it.
They did
Right.
last Tuesday night.
Okay. Any questions?
Just curious for historical, how old is this building?
That addition was done in 1993.
And was it just a haggard job on the floor, or
You know,
that's the useful life?
I'd like to say that they did a poor job, but I can't. The steel and stuff is designed for an H20 load. We did a little bit more design on this for heavier loads.
Okay.
And that's what we have now. We have the heavier trucks that are in there, especially the vac truck. We do keep it filled halfway with water so that we don't have to, if we have an emergency, we don't have to wait to respond. That's some of the things we're going to be changing. I'll leave it half. I don't fill it all the way up anymore. Those are just things that weigh on the floor that we don't want to stress it out any more than we have to. We also have a special design for the lift that we're putting in there. We added some steel underneath it, and the lift will span and sit on that steel instead of on the concrete floor where it has a chance that it could deflect.
So I remember when you guys did the floor repair on this as part of the Public Works garage work that we did, 5-6 years ago. What would you, you must not have discovered at that time that this was going to be needed, and it said that the repair would have been okay. Is there anything you would have done differently in terms of testing that to see if maybe we should have done the repair at the time we did all that other work? Or?
We spent the good part of a full day going through and tapping that floor from underneath and above to see if there's any, and that tapping is basically driving a rod onto the concrete. You could hear the difference in the concrete. We identified all those areas, so if anything, I may have, knowing what if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have wrapped it into the project. Okay. Because I probably would have got a little bit better price to do it.
Okay.
I have one last question. The 15% contingency, is that like normal or is that a little high?
We ran into a small problem with the other floor where they discovered that some of the steel wasn't wrapped properly, so they ended up having to do a redesign on some of the columns and some of the beams. I'm not anticipating that there. We've uncovered as much as we possibly can without taking the floor down right now, but just in case I run into something that I didn't foresee, and that could happen, I'd prefer to be prepared for that.
Okay. I have no further questions. Marsh, you good? Okay. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the appropriation of $785,000 of ARPA funds for a replacement of the Department of Public Works garage? John moves, Mike seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Next item is discuss and take action on a request to adopt the recommendation of the non-represented compensation study. And Susan Barksdale will introduce this.
Susan Barksdale, Human Resources Director. As you know, back in December, the town of Darien contracted with Randy Frank Consulting to conduct a classification and compensation study for the town's full-time, non-represented staff to reassess job responsibilities and compensation. The process involved interviewing each employee, updating job descriptions with current information on job duties and required qualifications, classifying the positions according to a uniform factor point analysis standard, surveying the market of comparable communities to determine representative rates of compensation, and then developing and recommending a pay plan. As a result of this study, each position is now properly classified and assigned a pay plan grade according to its relative economic worth in relation to the marketplace and other similarly classified positions within the town of Darien. A current and competitive compensation schedule has been developed for the positions studied. The results of the study determined that of the 34 town of Darien non-represented positions studied, the majority of them are currently properly compensated when considering both the external market equity and the internal equity among other town of Darien positions, which is really good. There are several that are within the appropriate salary range, but due to some movement in classification are not exactly in the proper place in that range. And then there are a couple positions that, due to significant movement in classification, are below the minimum of the appropriate salary range. The compensation plan that is presented to you is a revision to the version that was approved in June, and so this revised compensation plan is being submitted tonight for your approval. Are there any questions?
Well, first I want to say thank you as our new Director of Human Resources. You hit the ground running, identified a need, and we really appreciate that. It was a lot of work went into this. We had a pretty robust discussion on this in executive session, so I think we had a lot of our questions answered there. But any additional? No?
No, very thorough study, and we appreciate it.
Okay. Seeing no further questions, thanks, Susan. May I have a motion to approve the request to adopt the recommendation of the non-represented compensation study results? Marcy moves. Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Susan. Next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a request to accept a donation of $200,000 from the Darien Little League for the reconstruction of ball fields at McGuan Park. We have our Park and Rec Director, Pam Geary, to go through.
Pam Geary, Director of Parks and Rec. This is basically a summary of what I've already given to you. But at its meeting on July 19th, 2023, the Parks and Recreation Commission unanimously endorsed a donation proposal from the Darien Little League, offering up to $200,000. This donation aims to fund the reconstruction of the 3 athletic fields at McGuan Park. This is coming after the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and RTM approved a $15,000 donation to have a field assessment done. The evaluation was conducted by Tom Irwin Advisors, and it identified various challenges such as water management difficulties causing inconsistent field conditions, struggles with maintenance, inadequate soil composition, and irrigation system issues affecting water distribution. So Tom Advisors proposed a solution involving full infield skin reconstruction using custom material, laser grading for drainage improvement, widening base paths for maintenance machinery, and the project cost for field reconstruction was between $130,000 to $150,000. With the Darien Little League's donation proposal covering potential unforeseen expenses, they offered up to $200,000. Anticipating enhanced field conditions and reduced maintenance time, the Parks Department aims to begin the project in fiscal '24 instead of fiscal '25, aiming for completion by fall 2023 for spring 2024 play. This project won't compromise other fiscal '24 plans. Pending approval, the Parks and Recreation Commission seeks acceptance of the $200,000 donation from the Board of Selectmen. Plans also include discussions with the Board of Finance and RTM following approval.
So Pam, one of the things you mentioned here is safety concerns. Have we had any incidents there? Have we had any accidents or
Not
due to the status of the field?
I have heard of that Sean Ryan, who was the president the last 5 years, has talked about some kids having some ankle twisters on regrading issues or grading issues of the field. And I don't know, this Sandy is our park supervisor, if you wanted to address any of that,
I mean, there's been a couple.
if you want to come up.
This is Sandy Rich, supervisor of the Parks Maintenance.
Hi, Sandy.
Hello.
His first time here, so be nice to him.
And Sandy, we only want you up here because you're being filmed. You know, live stream. We're very popular in other countries also, just so you know. So.
No pressure.
No pressure, really.
There's a couple issues like the clay, meets the grass, the lips change, and every now and then, a player hits the ball, someone going to the field, it takes a bad hop. There have been a handful of kids that I've heard that have gotten baseballs to the face, which is, unfortunately, even on a perfect field, that can always happen, but, doing this project would help, cut it down.
The only other thing that kind of pops out at me is, the quota is 130 to 150, and they're proposing to cover up to 200,000. Is there something we're missing here? That's a pretty big number.
No, I don't believe so. Tom Irwin, Ian, who's the guy that I've been dealing with, he quoted us 130 to 150 based on a recent project of 3 Little League fields in Massachusetts. So, I feel that number is good, but I think the Little League...
This came upon a Recreation Parks Commission meeting where they were asking questions of if there were any unforeseen costs that we don't know about right now, are you willing to consider donating more? And at that meeting, they publicly stated they would cover up to 200,000.
Okay.
So they don't anticipate it, but they were willing to.
And has there been any, how's Baker?
Baker is on the list of fields to have evaluated next. We actually, 2 weeks ago, we had Cherry Lawn, our Gallagher baseball field. They came down and evaluated that, and I'm still waiting for the report to come back.
And that was also donated by Darien Little League, but it was
Right.
under 10,000, so we didn't need their approvals.
Right, okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have to say, with that amount of money, I do like to see a quote. Are the quotes, were they verbal, or do you have them? They were
Yes.
verbal?
No, they
Oh.
were written.
It
It's a
still would
field-
have to go out to bid, though.
Okay,
Right, it was a field evaluation.
Right,
that
right,
was-
no, I understand.
That was done for
Okay.
15,000 that
Okay.
produced those numbers.
Okay.
It was really 2 different, there was an A and a B scenario.
yeah,
One being between 30 and 60,000 and one being between 130 and 150.
okay.
But 30 to 60 isn't going to put the fields back
It's
to
not,
their
right, I understand,
best
yeah,
condition.
okay. So we will still be waiting for the bids to come in before we approve, because my concern is if the work is really 250, once the bids come in, if we then guarantee that, the town is then funding the rest, but if
Well,
it's not true.
this would, if you approve this, it
Yeah.
has to go to the Board of Finance and the RTM for an appropriation,
Right,
and that would be $200,000. So if we put it out to bid and it comes in at 250,000, we've got to come back.
okay, got it.
Any other questions?
No, just
I want to publicly thank the Darien Little League
Yes.
for this extraordinarily generous donation. And, I've been at the opening day, and it's amazing how many kids are out there. This, these fields are heavily used, so this will make a lot of little boys and girls happy. So thank you. Thanks for working on it. So, okay. There are no more questions. May I have a motion to accept the donation of $200,000 from the Darien Little League
And you had to recommend the same to the RTM?
and recommend the same to their team? Mike moves, John seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thanks.
Thank you.
Go back to the agenda, I'll show.
I was just gonna say,
Now, yes. So.
your turn to go back.
So next item on the agenda is, we have a number of transfers. So we have Ed Gentile, who's going to go through the Public Works transfers. And Kate, you want me to read each one and then,
No, I don't think it's
Okay.
necessary.
all right.
We're good? Let's see,
Do you have the right order, Ed?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. So item number 6 in the transfers is
Motorized?
motorized equipment. As I put in I try to give you a little bit of flavor in the transfer documents, but the cost of some of the parts that we're getting have been a little bit more expensive. We didn't have any major repairs. We just had a lot of more minor ones, but some of the equipment and parts had just de-escalated in price. So we're looking for $9,000 to be transferred to cover those additional costs.
My only question is the full-time salary, are we going to need to replenish that line item at some point?
This is last year.
This is last year's.
Yes.
Okay,
These are all
that's
fiscal
not fair.
'23
Thank you
requests
for
from
saying
Ed.
that. I appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Do you want us to take a vote on each one as
That
that
is
goes?
entirely up to you.
As that goes?
They're all
Okay.
fiscal '23, so if you want to approve them all in one motion, that's up to you.
Okay, we'll just do one by one. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the request of a transfer of $9,033 to Department of Public Works motorized equipment? Mike moves, Sarah seconds. All in favor? Okay, thanks. Solid waste.
Solid waste, we saw a shortfall of just over $45,000 in that line item. As you could see in the description, I gave you a little bit of background of what had happened last year. We were in deficit of about $180,000 that year, but had made it up on the revenue side. We did the same thing this past year with the increase to our tipping fees from $94 per ton to $118 per ton in October of 2022. You can see that there's over $200,000 in additional revenue above what I had budgeted at $400,000. So plenty of more, there was additional revenue to cover the $45,000 shortfall and then some. What you're seeing is we do see an increase of the waste disposal people coming to our station still.
We still see that?
Yeah. They haven't dropped off like they indicated they were going to. It's pretty much has been a steady flow for now.
Ed, has anyone else raised their tipping fees after us?
Stanford was close behind us. I just haven't heard if they've done it yet or not. Others had done it already in this range, and some just below or just above it. But I think we're in line right now with City Carding, Wind Waste on Taylor Reed with regards to being 100, 118, 120, 125. Really depends if you're a regular customer or you're someone just pulling in off the street.
Any questions? No? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the transfer of $45,431 to Department of Public Works Solid Waste Disposal? Marcy moves, John seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, next is electricity.
So this is the electric account for this building right here. What we saw was the increase of use during COVID, and I've kept it actually the same. We haven't really changed any of the airflow in this building at all since we've upgraded the system. Though we have better control over the temperatures right now, we also have better control of the airflow. Recommendations say that we continue that airflow at a certain rate, which is what we're doing right now. The other piece is, just as this budget for this past year was submitted, Eversource had gone in for a rate increase in November of 2021. Where I did not catch that until after the budget had been done.
Right.
So this is us catching up on that. You'll see this budget for FY24, I did actually put everything together, increase along with the rate increase also, increased use.
And I noticed that the AC is shut down on the weekends.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Unless you you folks are going to come into work, you let me know. I can
That's
get
okay.
it turned on at a certain time.
I'm pretty
but
cheap.
It gets a little
That's okay.
stuffy in here without the airflow.
Yeah, it does. Any questions? No? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the transfer of $26,927 to Department of Public Works Electricity Fund? Mike moves, Marcy seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, Ed, next is
Heating fuel.
Heating fuel.
heating fuel.
And that's
yeah.
also for this building. And what we've seen, and Tony and I have gone back and looked over the last couple of years, is since we put in the new systems and the new valves and we have better control, we actually can get heat to parts of the building that we never were able to do before. So we're using a little bit more natural gas to do that, along with the rate increase that Eversource saw on this same time, November of 2021. So we're just catching up to that now. And you'll see in this year's budget for FY24, I did account for that rate increase.
Okay. Any questions? No. Okay, may I have a motion to approve a request of a transfer of $13,224 to the Department of Public Works heating fuel account? And Mike moves. Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Ed. Next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a request for a transfer of $11,906 to the Park and Rec capital account for the Toro mower.
And these two for Parks and Rec are both fiscal '24.
Okay. Pam?
So in September 2022, we received a quote of $86,000 from TPC Turf Products for the Toro Groundsmaster 4500 mower as part of our capital improvement plan. Expecting approval delays, we requested $90,000 to account for potential cost increases. In June 2023, we tried to order the mower from TPC Turf Products, who had a qualified bid through Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperation. They informed us of an 18 to 24 month manufacturing and delivery time frame and a 4% November price hike. The current quote is $101,905 with an 8% increase. That's November 2023 and November 2024, including setup and freight. If delivered before November 2024, a $3,500 credit reduces the total to $98,345. TPC Turf Products is the sole source for this mower. We prefer Toro equipment due to the past reliability and ease of maintenance. With interchangeable parts among our existing mowers, the two mowers that we currently have will also be able to share cutting decks. Our request is to transfer $11,906 from the McGuan Patio and Foundation Capital Improvement Project for the Toro Groundsmaster 4500. We came in with a reduced quote for that project and felt that we could cover it through there. The potential total cost is $101,906, but if it arrives pre-November 2024, the price is $98,345, requiring an $8,345 transfer. We'd appreciate your consideration.
So Pam, when you have one source that kind of pops out at me, and you say that it can't be purchased anywhere else locally, but we're paying for freight, we're paying for shipment. So there's only, I remember the Toro you've done without a Toro long enough commercial. There's only one source that we can.
I'm going to hand that over to Sandy. You want to come up and speak to that, since he's
For the smaller equipment like homeowner stuff, yeah, Toro is in Home Depot and a lot of places, but once you get past a certain point, get to the larger commercial mowers, they're territorialized. So Enfield, Connecticut is the region where we get all our equipment, and we can't get it from anywhere else.
So you can't go to another region?
No. If they could ship it to another region, I'm sure there's different ways to, jump through loopholes, or you buy it used from a different town, or, someone looking to get rid of one. But for us to buy new, Enfield, TPC is the only place we can get it.
Okay, and this, you have 6 now, and this isn't we're not replacing something, right? We're adding to our fleet?
We're replacing a 22-year-old machine, but essentially we're adding to our fleet. With the old machine, I think we're going to hang on to it for now.
We are, okay.
Yeah, as a backup, and also, down the road, Great Island, it's still a working machine. It's very old, and you never know. We don't want to be caught, unprepared if there's a breakdown or something beyond what we want to invest in to fix it.
A lot of maintenance has gone into
Yeah.
refixing it.
So the 22-year-old machine, are those parts still applicable for a new
Some
machine?
of them, yes.
Yeah, so you could harvest from there?
Yes,
Okay.
and we have a lot of parts in stock, just,
Yeah.
wearable parts that typically over the years we know that wear out, we keep, stocks of them so we don't have to wait.
Okay, any questions, Mike?
I guess my only question is not about the mower itself, but we're pulling from this capital improvement project fund. So this is a remaining balance. You said this was fiscal year '24, but this is a remaining balance from last year's?
Nope, the McGuan is a fiscal '24 project as well, but when they've gotten updated quotes and the project is going to
Right.
cost less than what we had budgeted.
But you don't know for sure
Yeah, we did.
that it's going to be that way. I mean, we've had bids all across the place where we think it's going to be this. I mean, this is another example where you think you have a bid at a price and then something changes. So what happens if, as you get closer to the McGuan project, that it comes in at a greater sum?
I'm highly confident that the original quote that we got for the capital improvement project for McGuan, it was $190,000, and then we had some foundation questionable areas, so we went in saying $250,000. This particular group that I had come quote said they in all honesty could not quote that high. They came in at without the foundation issues, came in at $133,000. Now they're re-quoting me just the foundation bathroom issues with prevailing wages, and I just haven't gotten that final one, but without prevailing wages, it would have been $39,000. With prevailing wages, we're still looking way, way under. So to take $11,000 from that project does not concern me.
Just a big picture here. Did you ever consider looking into, this is a gas-powered machine?
Diesel.
Yeah, diesel. Have you ever considered into hybrid or battery-powered, or is there an option for that?
Not at that size.
Okay.
Not yet. That is something I know in the future, probably yes, but for the size of the machine that we're looking at, just the technology.
It's not there yet.
And I've done some research too with various towns talking about that subject.
Yeah.
And same feedback, just not there yet.
Okay. Thank you.
And the 4% bump, that's just the way it is.
Standard.
Yeah.
How, is that historically accurate for this particular company?
Yes.
How, they've been doing 4% even when we had 1% inflation? Okay, good to know. Any other questions? No? Okay. Seeing no other questions, may I have a motion to approve a request for a transfer of $11,906 to the Park and Recreation Capital for the Toro mower. Marcy moves, John seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, Pam, you are up for a discussion.
Opinion of probable cost.
Where am I? What number are we?
11, the
11?
pear tree.
Discuss and take action on request to transfer $8,000 to Park and Rec pear tree construction bid. Pam?
Yes, so Lori, Bora, and Mike Scrow had called a meeting with Monica and Kate, and Ed happened to be in the area, so he joined the meeting, and there was a discussion in regards to the Pear Tree Building Committee. And the discussion also turned into, we have a approved construction bid of $30,000 for Pear Tree. And after lengthy discussion, it was felt that obtaining a probable cause estimate before pursuing a construction bid would offer several benefits. It provides a clear understanding of the project scope, potential challenges and costs involved. This helps in refining project details, identifying potential issues, and making informed decisions early on. Having a cost estimate also allows for more accurate budgeting and helps avoid surprises during the bidding process. Ultimately, a well-prepared estimate increases the chances of receiving competitive and accurate bids from contractors, leading to a smoother construction process and better cost control. So I had reached out to Weston Sampson, and they came back with a proposal of $8,000. So I think it just seems very smart. to move in that direction.
Prudent.
And we're looking for your support on that.
Is there a ballpark estimate of total cost to get all this done?
Oh, boy, we've been doing this, since 2018 and 19, and because of the changes in the project. But I want to say that we discussed approximately $2 million, but because of that approximate, we could never really nail down Weston and Sampson as more than just a general quote. So this seems to kind of really dig down deeper and get a more accurate price before we spend that $30,000.
And is the plan to form a new building committee when this moves forward? Is that the idea? Okay. Well, I mean, this was the non-controversial part of the whole pear tree project, right? And everybody kind of stacked hands and said that needed to be done. And so this, I think, in the scheme of all the work that's been done, this is easy. I mean, we need to do this, so.
Yeah. Pam, when does the clock start ticking with the deep approval? Has it started already, or is it when?
No, it's started.
Yeah, I think as soon as we got it, it started.
Sorry?
I think as soon as we got the approval, the
Right,
clock
in the
starts.
COP. Mhm. So that was in 2022, just last summer.
Yeah.
And
So
I think it's like 4
we have
years.
5 years.
It's 5 year?
Mhm.
Okay.
Still goes by quickly.
It does.
Yeah.
5 years to initiate or to complete?
I think if we were well underway, we would be able to get an extension.
Yeah, I think that's what the
Mhm.
consultant said, right? That
Yes.
wouldn't be a problem. Any other questions?
Nope.
No? Okay, may I have a motion to approve a request for a transfer of $8,000 to the Park and Rec Pear Tree Construction Bid Project? John moves. Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
Thanks. Thank you, Pam. Next item on the agenda is to reappoint a member to the Police Commission for a term expiring on June 30th of 2026. We continue to be extraordinarily thankful for everybody that steps forward for these commission and committee appointments. And this police commission appointment is no exception. Very, very grateful. So, any discussion? Okay, may I have a motion to reappoint Kevin Cunningham to the Police Commission for a term expiring June 30th, 2026? Marcy moves, Mike seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is minutes. Review and approve the minutes of the August 7th regular meeting, August 7th, 2023. Any edits, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Marcy moves, Mike seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Agenda review. Any topics board members would like to see on future agendas?
No, at this time.
Not at this time? Okay. Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn? Sarah moves, Mike seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Hey, Kate, I didn't say what